You asked, so I'm answering. It's 2026 and you want a cheap knife gift. I got some really good options for you. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the KnifeCenter. Welcome to KniFAQ number 256, the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. What we do is we answer all your questions and we get them, well, we answer some of your questions. We pull them from the comments section below the videos. I try to give the best response I can, and Thomas behind the camera films it and makes snarky comments.
The avocado is overrated.
Avocado has to be treated with respect.
Pass.
First question today comes from Jeremy, USNCR. Hi, David. What are your favorite knives to give as gifts that are under $26, tax not included? 26 is a weird number to choose as your cutoff. And so I'm going to go a little weirder and go up to $27. It's my show. I'll break the rules if I want to. And I'll have some more for you too, but this right here truly sits on my my top tier list of knifely gifts, and it is affordable at $26.99 at this point in time. It is the Victorinox Alox Bantam. This one happens to be a KnifeCenter exclusive red color on this knife, and even if someone has like a lot of Swiss Army knives or no Swiss Army knives, the Bantam Alox is something that like everyone should have. It's super slim. Single layer thick, yet the aluminum handles are very durable. You've got a main blade and the combo tool, which does a lot. Obviously, it looks like a bottle opener, and it will open bottles. It will also work as a can opener. It'll also work as a flathead screwdriver / pry guy. The corner right here even works on some number 2 Phillips screwdrivers, and you've got the wire stripper notch. Tons of stuff you can do. It's even got a right angle position if you need a little more leverage. And there it is, folds up like so. You can also get it in black from us, and it's phenomenal. Truly phenomenal knife gift. You could slide it into any pocket. It will be unnoticeable till they need it. I am going to get, like I said, to some that do fall under your $26 cap. But in the interest of sort of like truth here, or authenticity, I guess. You asked, what are your favorite knives to give as gifts? These 3 here, these other 2 are also above $26 you mentioned, but again, truly, these are my top 3 knife gifts of like all time. First, pardon my self-promotion here, but the CJRB Maximal, a design of my own, does a lot of things for a lot of people. I designed it to work for pretty much any application and any type of person, any localities like stricter knife laws. For the most part, you of course must are responsible for knowing your local regulations, etc. But it's a small knife, so anyone feel comfortable carrying it. Yet it's got a large enough, broad enough handle. You could really muscle some bigger cuts with it when you need to, and it's 50 bucks. It's very affordable. It's not $26 affordable, but it's a good price, and it's a price that I can afford to give a handful out each year, whether it's Christmas time or other types of the year. I know it's a knife that's going to work for just about everybody. The design of it is fully vetted. It does everything I want it to do and should do a lot of things for a lot of people, no matter what the need. Everyday carry, great. Camping, hiking, tactical, not that's the one thing where it's not so much, but it's not horrible at it either. It's just small.
Sandwich spreading.
One could spread a sandwich. Where would you spread the sandwich?
On a plate.
On the counter. Crossbar lock, RPM 9 stainless steel, which is a spray form steel, so it's got pretty good toughness, especially for a budget stainless here, yet it's easy to maintain, holds an edge pretty well. It's ambidextrous. I've said a lot about the Maximal over the years, but there is a reason that this is the top of the list as a giftable knife for me, because the things that make it what it is automatically make it something that's giftable to just about everyone. The other thing, which has just come out within the last 12-month period, within the last year, I'm finding very hard to ignore as a knife option, knife gift option especially, is the Nextool K30. And like the Maximal, it is a crossbar locking blade, 2 3/4 inches in this case. It's a little bit shorter. And it doesn't quite have like the finger guard protection and some of the ergonomic benefits that the Maximal has, to say nothing of the aesthetics of it. This is a kind of a boring lump of a rectangle here. But the functionality of the K30 here is fantastic because it is a multi-tool, and we're going to get into that. And the fit and finish is just fine for 40 bucks. There's nothing here where I go, I wish that was made a little better. Full stop. It just plain works. Steel is 14C28N, another great budget stainless steel. In fact, this and RPM 9 are like my two favorites there. You've got the crossbar lock, so it still does the same things I like about what the Maximal does, but on top of that, in not too much more bulky of a space, it's shorter yet wider a little bit. You've got all sorts of cool stuff. You got a bottle opener right there that also runs off the crossbar lock. You've also got a bit driver that comes with a double-sided 4mm bit. Extra bits are also available to expand the selection. Both of those run off the crossbar lock, yet when you want to do that wrist flick thing, only the blade comes open or closed, which is awesome. You've also got a pry guy here with files, flathead screw driving, etc. You've got an awl here on the back, and the sort of, most noteworthy feature, the big old scissors right there. Big old skiz. Just tons of power in a very, very compact frame. You've also got a set of tweezers, deep carry pocket clip, 40 bucks. Kind of nuts. And yeah, you would gift this to someone, and I can't imagine anyone, especially if like they don't really have good knives, you give them this, thrilled. Phenomenal gift. All right. How about some things that are actually under $26? I got a few kind of sections here. Got some cool keychain stuff that I think makes great gifts. The classic SD from Victorinox. Oops, there we go. The quintessential keychain sized Swiss Army knife. These come in, start around 24 bucks, including some of these KnifeCenter exclusive Leela Ray Artist Series ones right here. I prefer the Rambler in general for utility, but the Rambler does not have the breadth of selection of different colors, different paint schemes, not paint, but you know what I mean, different graphics and different options to choose from, which if you're gifting to someone, you could actually find something that really suits their personality or their interests, as opposed to just a red-handled Swiss Army knife, which is cool, but as far as like giftability, it's hard to argue with that. 24 bucks, like I said, you get a nail file with the screwdriver at the tip. This is the SD in Classic SD. The original Classic just had the nail cleaner tip, unless I'm missing something. Small pen blade. On the opposite side, you have the best mini scissors on the market. They may be small, but they snip pretty darn well. And toothpick and tweezers. There you go. Check that out. Next up, for about $20, another next tool item. This is technically not a knife, but that could be an advantage depending on who you're gifting it to, depending on where they may take it in terms of travel, everything else. This is the Mini Sailor Light, coming in 20 bucks. You've got spring-loaded pliers with needle nose and wire cutters there. Close it up, and you've got a minimal yet very capable tool set. You've got a pretty good pair of scissors. I think the Victorinox scissors are a little bit better, but these are still quite good. And then on the opposite side of that, you have a small two-dimensional Phillips right there. And you have on the opposite side of the same side, you have the pry guy, flathead, bottle opener right there, and the sim tool. What else we got? We've also got a little glow-in-the-dark patch right there, and keychain ability if you wish. Very cool little thing, technically TSA compliant, although, as we know, the TSA officer running you through security does have final and personal discretion, for better or worse. So, good thing is it's only 20 bucks. If something does happen and it gets taken away, at least it's only 20 bucks. Could sting a lot worse, certainly. Really cool little implement. We had this on the show last week, the Almar Stinger. Great keychain item. It's an actual pocket or a keychain fixed blade, essentially. I always pulled from the wrong side. Silly me. D2 steel blade. D2 is an interesting thing to think about when we're thinking about gifts, because potentially the person you're gifting a knife to may not be knife experienced. And D2 is not necessarily the best steel for a knife beginner. It holds an edge really well, but it is only semi-stainless and it is harder to sharpen for those, for beginner and novice sharpeners especially. Now, you might be giving this to someone who you will be sharpening their knife anyway for them, so it doesn't matter too much. In which case, the longer lasting edge of the D2 might be an advantage for you, so you don't have to sharpen their knife as much. Just keep that in mind when you're considering who is going to be the recipient in this case. A few different colors of this. This is the blue, is at $13, and it doesn't even look like a knife. It would be very, very unobtrusive. In fact, you could pair these two together. The next tool, Mini Sailor Light, that we just looked at, and you could have the knife blade to go along with, and you could take the knife blade off if they're going somewhere where they can't have a knife blade, like court, because we hang out with a lot of miscreants and that sort of thing. One more technically keychain item, because the sheath does have a keychain hook on it. The Armiger bottle opener from Demco. Also technically not a knife, but still really cool. These are like $14 on sale right now. It's a pry bar / bottle opener with the small Armiger handle, 420J2 steel. Not the greatest edge retention, but there's no edge to retain, so doesn't matter. These are very cool. Let's say you want to give an actual knife. Well, we did do a video last year on Seth and I did the best pocket knives under $25. We'll leave a link to that. You can go check that out. Tons of great options on there. But two I just want to call out real quickly. The SE Chirp at $20 is like a stupid good deal for what you're getting here. 2.7-inch blade, D2 steel. The same caveat applies when I'm talking about D2 earlier. But what a great shape for just a small everyday carry pocket knife. Elliptical style drop point, full flat grind, not too thick, so it's very slicey. Great edge retention from the D2. You can get micarta or G10 handles. Carbon fiber is also available. I think that's another $10, $10 upcharge there. So you have to decide whether that's worth it. That puts it above the $26 too. Old school styling to the liner lock with the protruding tab right there, and a 2-position pocket clip so you can carry it up, or tip down, and 2-hand opening there. Very kind of modern, classic, without being, without trying to be like an old school pattern. It's just kind of like old school thought process, but made with like modern, ideals of knife design or knife construction, I would say. Very cool knife. Another option, if you'd rather give something stainless and easier to maintain, the Ontario Ice series is a good option. Several different colors of translucent handles. This is the red one. Most of these are on sale, I think, for about $15. 4116 stainless. Doesn't hold an edge like D2, but it is stainless and it is easy to sharpen. And it's a very cool shape too. And I think it has a bit of presence for an inexpensive or cheap knife gift as well. Fixed blades, always an option. And we have to talk about Mora, because at this price range, Mora stands for Mora over really anything, because they just do. This is the companion, and this would be like typically my go-to Mora knife to gift. There are a few situations where I might choose something else in very specific circumstances, but the companion is just such a broadly useful and adaptable design. It's like $18 for this. You can get it in carbon or stainless steel. Given that this is a gift, I would probably choose the stainless steel option. You don't have to worry about them being careless with how they treat the knife. Scandi ground edge, crazy sharp from the factory, very comfortable in the hand, very durable, very easy to manipulate, and very sharp and very useful. Just like all over. It's just really good. Right hand side sheath as well. It does have a Scandi grind, however. So that's the one thing where, again, if it's someone who's kind of uninitiated with knives, unfamiliar with knives, maybe they have some like kitchen knife sharpeners, Scandi grind can be a little trickier to sharpen if you don't know what you're doing. If you do know what you're doing, and you could teach them, it's very easy because you can lay the bevel of that grind on the stone and follow it the whole way as you sharpen. Because this is essentially a double planed chisel, comes right down to the sharpened edge. But if you'd rather gift something with a more Western style edge, or what we think of as a conventional style edge, where you have that secondary bevel right along the edge there, Pendleton Light Hunter from Cold Steel is about $20, and it is like the more alternative if you want a conventional grind. I'm just using the term conventional here for convenience's sake. 3.6 and some change on the blade length, 41/16. Very durable and tough for a stainless, but just make sure you bring your sharpening stone along with you. Comfy in the hand as well. Hunting is in the name, and it would make a great hunter, but it's a good shape for just all-around general camp use. Comes with a very similar sheath to that Mora as well. Anyway, I was about to wrap it up, but no, I do have one more. An actual pumpkin carving knife set. If you really care about people in your life that do pumpkin carving come Halloween time, and they're not using a like real pumpkin carving tools, get them some. This Mondial set is like $13 right here, and it works. And they're not going to have to be using like a bread knife or a paring knife, which honestly, I've done some pumpkin carving with regular kitchen knives. It's kind of scary. Like, it can like slip off and go rogue on you if you're not paying attention, and nobody wants that. Fake blood only at Halloween, please.
That's why I use a Dremel.
That works too. Yeah, power tools, that's a whole different can of worms.
Inside,
well, I would hope so. Yeah. Do it inside. Bring the cameras next time. Very affordable, and like could prevent a trip to the emergency room, and it makes it a lot more fun too. And these are actually glow in the dark too, which is even more fun. Kids like glow in the dark stuff. I do too. Maybe I'm a kid at heart. Probably. All right. That's it for the cheap gifts today. Let's get into the lightning round. The 4CP says, my biggest knife question is still unanswered. I'm a huge fan of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, but what does the original Paramilitary look like? Like this. There's a link in the document so you can get to our old picture.
I was wondering how I get that.
It's right here. Essentially, it looks kind of like the original military before it started to look like the Paramilitary 2. Or the Military 2 now looks kind of like the Paramilitary 2. But the military still has the same kind of lines as the Paramilitary. You can still get the Paramilitary, or the military, but you can't get the Paramilitary. But you get the Paramilitary 2. Anyway, enough of that. A little bit different. Looks like this. Dan Hub, B1C, says, are there any specific knives or features of a knife that your opinion has changed over time? When I first got the Real Steel Iris, I didn't like it much. Put it in a drawer and didn't expect to touch it again. Now it's one of my top carries. I'm glad you said so, because one, I love the Iris. I think it's phenomenal. Also a great gift knife here, but it does come in at about $32. So it's not quite under the $26 thing, but what a great knife. 12C27 steel, 3-inch blade, so it's very tough, easy to maintain, a length that works just about anywhere. Folded steel frame, so it's very durable as well. I would say this version of the Iris with the front flipper has a feature which I have not changed my opinion on. Front flippers are fine, they're just not for me typically. I can make them work a lot of the times. The Iris is not one of the more difficult ones to use, but if anything, my position on front flippers has solidified over the years. I would take the standard flipper version of the Iris if it were me. However, in the Paramilitary 2 that we just looked at, the compression lock. I used to scoff at it, quite honestly. Before I started working here at the KnifeCenter, I'd experienced, actually a PM2 was my first compression lock knife. And I was a big Axis lock fan back in the day, the crossbar lock style that you see on the Maximal here. And to me, the compression lock did everything the crossbar lock did, except be easy to use in the left hand. Yeah, you can do it, but I thought, yeah, I'll go for a crossbar lock instead. This just seems like, not as good. I have changed on that a little bit. I find it easier to use now, perhaps, than before. And what I do appreciate is the reliability and strength of the compression lock. It should have more strength than most locks out there. And there's no springs to kind of wear out or break either. It's just, sprung steel that nestles into the lock position. So super, super reliable. Has a lot of good things going for it. What have you guys changed your knife opinions on over the years? Comment section is where you should comment that. All right, before I lose the rest of my voice, I don't know what's going on here. We finally now come to our finalist question of the day, which is our most seriousest question of the day, which comes from Gerbdevnal, GRB Devnal, something like that. Most seriousest question. The viewers have asked about price, size, weight, quality, value, durability, and many other factors, but I don't think I have heard anyone ask about taste. We all know that using one's knife for food prep changes the flavor of the food. That is why homemade food is always better, right? It tastes like your knife and not someone else's. Which knife or knife steel tastes the best? I'm going to answer your query with someone else's query, which I think applies, which comes from Rory123. I have a very serious, this came over the holidays, holiday question for you. ChatGPT says that a MagnaCut blade will make any food it cuts taste just like peppermint candy. Is this true? Love the channel, by the way. Could be.
Well, someone's experiment worked with ChatGPT.
So in answer, GRB Devnal, maybe give MagnaCut a try. There you go. Also, to anyone who watched the New Knives episode earlier this week, yes, I know Wookiees are from Star Wars. It was a joke. Jokes don't always work on the internet, so I'm sorry for any consternation I caused. Yes, of course I know.
Sorry to all the Battlestar fans.
I did put this in the comments, however. The one joke I wish I'd thought of as we were filming it was, I should have said it was from Harry Potter, like for here. Yeah. Anyway. Tell me your knife opinions that have changed over the years. Drop them in the comments below. Let me know your favorite knife gift options, whether they're in that $26 and under budget or not. And if you want to get your hands on any of these items, links in the description will take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or new payment options at checkout, including Sezzle if you want to break things into smaller payment chunks. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.
Wookiee Monster, the lesser-known Muppet.